Hello you guys, welcome to my page. This is Create It with Robin and my name is Robin. On Tuesdays, I'm calling it Touch of Color Tuesdays. I'm going to be doing a different project. Now all of these projects are listed in my Etsy shop and my Tedoo shop, and I will share the links. Let me show you what we're doing. So these little kits are craft paint kits. The only thing that's not going to be in the box is paint. And for a little while, I am gonna provide the glue until, I may still do it, I don't know. But anyway, I'm gonna give you options of what to do with your little kits. So if you're not familiar with my little scoop kits, this is kind of how they end up looking. You get the scoop, all the little wood pieces, the wood beads. These are wood beads, and I'm gonna show you how to make these work. And we're gonna put one together. You're gonna get the twine and the ribbon that I use to create this look, okay? So this happens to be my s'mores wood scoop, if you couldn't see. It says s'mores. I know it's backwards, I can't help that issue with Facebook, but this is the watermelon scoop kit, and I was selling these on my live sale last month, and so I decided to add more to it to create a craft kit that you could do. This tutorial will also be uploaded into my YouTube channel, and it will also be linked for any of the kits that are purchased so that you can refer back to it anytime and as many times as you want to help you know how to create this wood scoop kit. So let's get started. So in the box, this is what you're gonna get. You're gonna get your sponges to help you paint with, and I only put 2 sponges in there, but you can get way more out of just 2 sponges for that. And we're not using that many colors today. It's literally red, green, and brown. So, and then you have this little square here. I'm gonna show you what this is for and what that's gonna do for you. You're gonna get a little eyeliner brush because there is some smaller pieces like the seeds on the watermelon. So that's what's going to help you create that. This is the super glue that you're gonna get. It's the perfect size, and we'll do probably half a dozen of these kits if you take care of it. I know some people forget to put the top back on and then it's ruined. And then all of the pieces for your kit are right here. There are extra beads in here because I'm gonna show you how we use them for these kits, and in fact the s'mores one has an extra little bead up here at the top, so that's an option. You don't have to do it exactly like I'm gonna do it, but this is a tutorial kind of showing you all the different options that you can do with one of these kits and create it and make it your own. So that's what you get in the kit. So we're gonna be I'm going to put this stuff away because I'm going to use other supplies, and I'm going to actually use what you're going to get to create this item. Here we go with the wood scoop kit. Now, something else you might need is a piece of cardboard, and I just cut up some of the Amazon boxes that I get, and then I tape on the other side. So you see this one is well loved. I paint with it all the time, but the sticky side is up so that your items will stick to it and not move around and shift when you're painting them. So how's everybody doing today? I'm gonna also grab a paper towel. I'm going to remove my pieces here, and when you get your kit, they will be rubber banded like this. These are your wood beads that are at the top of the scoop. like these. These are wood beads, and I'll show you how they all go together, but each wood bead is like 4 pieces. So your wood bead, you take the rubber band off, and then you have 2 pieces that look like this. They're front and back, so that no matter how your wood scoop sits, you'll see both from the same direction. And then these are your middle pieces that go in between like that. Okay? So I'm gonna take these apart and set my pieces aside. This is another one just like it, except it sits a little different once it's glued together, and I'll show you that also. So I've got those. And then we have our tag here. This one actually says summertime. And then I have 3 smaller slices that go inside the scoop. And I'm also going to give you options for those as well. And then we have our scoop, which comes in 2 pieces, right like that. In this particular kit, you get a larger bead and 2 smaller beads. All right. Are we ready? Who's done these before? Has anybody done these before? If not, oh, another item that I will put in your this one doesn't need it. Never mind. Never mind. I'm thinking of a different kit. This one doesn't need it. Okay. Anybody done this one before, or have seen them done, or maybe you've got one and haven't done anything with it, maybe from another creator? Okay, to start out with, we have to prep our pieces. And that little square that I showed you is actually a chunk or a piece of a magic eraser. On my wood pieces, you can tell when they are run through the laser. I don't know if you can see what's called overburn on the wood piece. I'm going to show you how to get rid of that. A lot of people will try sanding it off, and that's not good for the wood because you take off that top layer of the wood, which is kind of like a sealer of sorts. And then because MDF is made of wood particles and pressed wood particles, it starts to fall apart. So you don't necessarily want to do a whole lot of sanding on your wood pieces. So I'm going to show you how to get rid of that overburn by using a magic eraser piece that I will send in your kit. I'm just dampening it with just a couple squirts of water. And right onto the floor somewhere. Oh no, it went in the garbage. Okay. So I'm going to show you how quick and easy it is to clean these up. So you see the before, and I wear a little rubber finger. And I'm going to do half of it so that you can see the difference. And I'm taking it and just wiping it off on a paper towel. Can you see how it cleaned it right up? It's magic. It's magic. Now this method does not work on all types of wood. I will tell you that, because don't get mad at me if you go and try somebody else's wood and it doesn't work. It does not work on all types of wood. So here we go. I cleaned that summertime tag right up. So I'm just going to do that with the rest of my pieces. On the wood beads, you only need to do the top part of it where it is engraved or scored, which is what it means when you have lines and designs and words and whatever inside of a wood piece. That's what that means. I only need to clean the tops. And if I'm doing a brown on it, I don't do those pieces because they don't need it. You're covering it up with a brown, so leave the overburn marks on it. Okay. You don't want to leave water on these because you are working with an MDF wood that will soak up that water, which is why I'm on a paper towel wiping it right off as soon as I do it. How's everyone's day going? You guys are not talking, or if you are, I'm not seeing it. Not you, but you've watched it being, see, I'm not getting those comments. That's crazy. Christy has not. Okay. Y'all hang in with me. I appreciate you being here. Share me out. All right, that's it. No more cleaning. We're all done. So I'm gonna put this away. Save that for later. I wanted to check my glue here real quick. Unclog it because I did not have a chance to do that before going live, and I usually like to do that before my live. How many of y'all know about our squirrel problem, squirrel issue? All right, hopefully that's not clogged. So the reason why I'm late is the technician calls me at 11 o'clock and says, hey, I need to come over, check the trap, and do the sanitizing in the attic. And I'm like, okay, that's 2 hours before I gotta go live, no problem. Y'all, he was still here at 1 o'clock. And I knew whenever I put the message on Facebook, he ain't gonna make it by 1 o'clock. I knew that. He ain't gonna make it by 1 o'clock. He said it'd be quick and easy, in and out, he'd be done. No. Okay. Now we're gonna take a baby wipe. This is not gonna come in your kit, but this is what I do. You can use a wet paper towel or your sponge if you wanna use your sponge. I tend to use a wet baby wipe. It's just something I've done for years, and I, you know, if something ain't broke, don't fix it. So it's just what I do, and I fold it so that I can handle it just like this, okay? And I'm gonna bring my paper towel back out here for this part. I want to stain my wood scoop and the back of my tag. So I'm not going to do the front part with the words on it. I'm gonna do the back side. I like having the backs of all of my pieces done. It just finishes the project. And yeah, it just finishes the project. Nothing but about it. So I'm going to put a little on here, and you can tell the front and the backs of pieces. Like the front is fairly clean, okay? The back here, you can see these marks on the back. You can tell that is the back of any wood piece that you get, because that is from the backfire of the laser beam hitting the metal on the bottom and popping back up to mark the underside of the wood. You're not gonna see that on the front side, but you will see it on the back side. So I'm gonna come in and just rub that right into the wood. that aside and let it dry. And then the wood scoop part, we only need to do the top side of it so you can see how clean that is on that side. That's the front or the top. And then you see the back and how marked up it is. That's the bottom or the back side. So we don't need to paint the back side of this one. We just need the front. Now some wood laser users will put like 3M tape on there so that they don't get those marks. That's great if they want to do that, but that's another item I would have to charge you for to do that when it's really not all that necessary. I'm just going to go back over this one more time and get it a little bit darker. All right, now I'm going to do this again and do the back or the front. So hopefully I am teaching you guys a little bit about these wood pieces so that no matter who you get yours from, you'll be able to recognize fronts and backs if they don't have a design on them, to know which side you need to be painting. All right, so that's gonna go on here. I just wanna make sure they're similar to the same color, and those are good. So I'm gonna set actually I need to dry these. And for the staining part, I just use a gel stain by Americana. And this particular one is oak. It does come in like a walnut and oak, walnut, and maple. Okay, let me dry these because I do want to go ahead and glue this part together. And I don't want it wet when I glue it or it won't stick. So I'm done with this. I can take this off. Put it back where it belongs before I lose it. Now, your little piece like this, don't toss it after you've used it. You can see mine is very disgusting looking, but it still works. And if y'all have cleaned with a magic eraser before, you know it shrinks as you use it. And you can use it right up until there's like hardly anything left of it. And that's usually what I do, and then I throw it away. But this has got many, many, many more uses in it before I got to do that. So keep that in. Hi, Debbie. Thank you so much, Jill. You're such a sweetheart. But yes, our squirrel problem is now done. And it was not a cheap process either. It was like a 2-week process where the dude had to come out like every day for 2 weeks to make sure there's no activity. And then they had to spray the attic. They filled all the entry points that are on the outside of the house. I'm still using that baby wipe that we used for the staining. Keep that around because I'll show you all the things that I use all these things for during this little tutorial. I'm just lining up my pieces, and I like to look from the back side. Like you can see right up here, they're not quite even. So I like to look from the back to see if I can see any raw wood and just kind of put it right in place. slowly. All right, so that looks really good. So I'm gonna set that aside and let those pieces get nice and glued together, and while we keep going. Okay, the middle pieces of our beads, if I can pick them up, that look like this. You don't need to paint these, so I'm gonna set them aside. And these two pieces, you don't need to paint them, so set them aside. Don't waste your paint. If you don't gotta paint it, don't paint it. Okay, oh, I forgot to do the back side of my tag. So let me get a little bit more stain here. I was worried about the scoop part and didn't even do the tag. All right, so I got the front side is still good and the back side is stained, so now I can put that aside. All right, I'm gonna put this away now that we are done. Now is when you're gonna pull out your board with the tape on it. Again, this is just a cardboard, square, rectangle, whatever, and then I have tape on it with the sticky side up on it, just like that. Now I want to more or less separate colors, which for this particular thing, everything is getting painted almost the same way, but I'm going to actually, I'm going to put them down here on the bottom, because I'm going to be flipping this around a few times. And then at some point, it's almost satisfying when you get to take your items off the board. Okay, so I have, these are my wood watermelon pieces stuck right on the tape. And then I have my little bead pieces. So I'm gonna go ahead and put those on here just so I don't lose them. We're not going to paint them on here, although you could, but you get paint all over them, and I'll show you another way that I like to paint them when we get that far. And then I'm gonna put my tag right on there. Hopefully it sticks because it was still a little wet on the back from the stain. So I want to show you, can you guys see down this far? Can you guys see this plastic piece? This is a plastic see-through clear mat with that I get from Dollar Tree. So we're gonna be using that, and I'll show you, I have used this particular mat for well over 2 years, and it's probably about time to change it out, but that's just how I use it. I had another one down here, but I don't see it. Anywho, that's what I put all of my paint on, other than a paint palette that's like this, but this is kind of ugly to look at when we're doing a live, so I'm gonna be using my clear mat. Okay, Jill, thank you. Okay, when we clean our wood pieces, I'm gonna show you, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but inside the lines of where it says summer, sometimes the little magic eraser breaks off and gets inside of the word. Let's see. I don't know, can y'all see it right there? So I will take a little chip brush and I'll get in there and clean out those engraving lines or the score marks, score lines, whatever. And that cleaned it right up. So now you can see it nice and clear and it's ready to go. I'm gonna put that right back down. Okay, I'm gonna take, I need some sponges. So I've got my 2 sponges. Let's start with the red. And I'm gonna put this right, oh, y'all can't even see it. Let's see. Can I turn y'all down a little bit more? Will it let me? There we go. Might cut my head off, but y'all be able to see me. See what I'm doing. All right, so I put a little bit of red right there on the bottom. This is totally up to you. I need a smaller sponge. I'm gonna take, I'm gonna take a smaller sponge piece and I'm just gonna cut it so that it's even smaller. At this point, you could even use a brush. I would probably use a brush, but I wanted to show how to use the sponges. So I dabbed it into the red and I'm tapping off all the excess so that I've still got plenty of paint on my sponge. So I'm right-handed, so I'm gonna work from this side and I'm gonna get my red paint on here. And I might have to grab a paintbrush to get right up to that line, but I'm gonna get as much on here as I can. So what I don't want to do is the score lines that are on here, I don't want to fill those with paint, which is why we tap off as much as we can before going in and painting. Hi, Dewey. All right, so I'm just gonna, you see I'm not going all the way up to that line. I'm going as close as I can, but not right on it. So I do still have a little bit around the edge there to paint, but for the most part, I'm gonna get all of what I can with the sponge before I go in with a paintbrush. This one is a larger one, so I'm gonna be careful going in there. You can get some, get paintbrushes from anywhere, even Dollar Tree carries them. Okay, so I did these, but if you can see, I've still got more space in there that I need to paint with the red. So now I'm gonna grab a paintbrush. And with the, I'm actually gonna get my bristles wet and squeegee it off. Because they were kind of like fraying out like this. This is one of my favorite brushes. So I'm gonna get some red paint on my brush. And then I'm gonna kind of dab it off because I don't want to fill in the score lines with paint. If you guys have any questions, please ask. These kits are now in my Etsy shop and my tattoo shop. If you are interested in doing these, I'll be doing a scoop kit every Tuesday and releasing them Tuesday morning so that you can grab yours. And have a live tutorial to come back to. Again, these will be uploaded onto my YouTube channel and where you'll be able to watch the replays as many times as you need to. How are you guys doing? What does everybody do on a Tuesday besides work? If you're working. If you run out of paint, just go right back in and grab you some on your brush. This one has a tight little curve to it. I know not everybody likes to watch people paint, but you know, when this is your business, I kind of have to. It's what I do. I paint for a living. Not everybody does. I find it super relaxing. So if you guys are new to my page or my channel, please, please, please like and follow or subscribe. If you know somebody that would be interested in these types of kits, send them over to my Etsy shop. If you don't want to shop on Etsy or don't have a Tedu account, you can always create an account, but you can also put a comment right here in the live and I can get a kit made for you there too. Many ways to grab something fun to work with and create something different for your decor, or maybe use it as a gift tag for somebody that might like watermelon stuff. You know, that's always an option. Now I'm getting all plugged up. These do not have to be perfect. Nothing is ever perfect. I'm using the wrong glasses, so, you know, I'm not really sure what I'm painting. I should probably change those out so that I can see better what I'm doing. I'm just going to quickly give the center parts an extra coat of paint. A second coat. Okay. Hi, Jamie. Okay, I think I got the red done. So I'm gonna wash out my brush. And we gotta do the green next. Now, all of the paint colors that I'm using for this will be posted in the listings. So both listings on Etsy and on Tedu, I will post a link for all the colors that I use in case you wanted to, you know, do yours similar. You don't have to use the same colors, but I still had some red in my brush. I still do. Okay, I'm gonna get a smaller one because our green, so I've got the red done. So now I need to come in and do this really thin line of green right there. And for that, I'm gonna use a sponge for the tag, but for the green part, I'm gonna grab a small brush, a super thin brush. I think this is like not even 1/4 of an inch. Okay, so I'm gonna come in with a light green. I'm gonna get some of my, tap it off because I'm going in on the tag where there's score marks or an engraved word, and I do not want paint to get down into the letters creating the word, so I'm just lightly dabbing. And I should have painted white on this first, and I did not. I should have done all of it white. I got nervous. On both the watermelon pieces and on this, I should have painted those white as a base coat first, and I did not do that. Do as I say, not as I do. So I'm gonna let that dry, and I need another drop of the light green. I must have a goober. Okay. I'm gonna remove my pieces so that my hand doesn't stick. Don't talk with your mouth full. Set that aside. Oh. All right. I'm gonna come back in and do that again. So I got that done, and I'm just gonna do the rest of them just like that and get them finished. You guys talk to me. Tell me what you're up to. What do you do on a Tuesday? What are you having for dinner? I've already got dinner prepped and ready to go into the oven later, so I don't have to do anything with that except turn on the oven and shove it in there. So everything you need besides the paint, and if you use brushes, like I said, you don't have to use brushes. I'm using a brush because it's what I'm comfortable doing in these smaller areas. But if you want to use a brush, like I said, you can find them at any craft store or even Dollar Tree. if you do get paint inside of a score line, like I just did, take something sharp. You can use a needle, or this is just a scribe tool, and scrape it out. You want to get it out of there before it dries, or it'll be in there forever. If you guys purchase, let me know. Let me know in the comments if you decide to get one. These little kits make such fun little things to do with kids. Let them decorate their own little scoop. I know a lot of people don't like to paint, so it's kind of, I think for me, I've said it before, it's therapeutic. I love to paint. I don't get to do it as often as I'd like. All right, I've got 2 more to do. I think maybe next time I will do an overhead view of doing these. Might make it a little easier. What do you guys think? Is this view good, or should I do overhead? All right, I'm gonna look at these and see if they need a second coat. I'm just gonna quickly slap on a little bit more because I don't like to see the wood through the paint. And then we'll do some shading on this with a darker green. I hope you are having a fantastic Tuesday so far. That's the day I'm making this tutorial. Is Touch of Color Tuesday is what I'm calling this segment of painting my wood pieces. And one more. All right, I'm gonna put that in the water. Every now and then you need to wash your brush out so that the paint doesn't gloop up on it a lot. Okay, so I use a skewer, and you can see I use it to paint beads all the time. I'm gonna take the larger paint bead and I'm just gonna pop it down there. It does slide around on it, so I just use my finger to hold it in place. And I'm gonna use my paintbrush that we just used. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm gonna use my sponge. So I'm gonna put paint on my sponge and I'm just going to hit it. This is going to make this real quick, fast, and easy. And then I'm going to flip it over without it sliding off the pole and do the other side. And just like that, our bead is painted green. So I need to let that dry just for a second. I'm going to set that down. And now for the darker green. So I'm going to use a darker green. So I did a lighter green, and then I'm coming in with a little bit darker of a green. And I need just a tiny bit of that. So I have green still on my sponge. I'm going to dab off as much of that as I can. And then I'm going to go in with the darker. So I have the darker on there, but I'm going to dab that off. So now that it's darker underneath on that sponge, and I'm lightly going to barely touch the edge of my wood piece. And I'm popping on and popping off. I'm barely touching my wood piece, and it's transferring that paint right on there and shading the watermelon rind. Can y'all see that? It's so small, but makes such a big difference. Maritza. How are you? Okay, this one is a larger watermelon piece. And then I've got 3 more to do. Nope, 2 more to do. Now I need to change back to my other glasses. All right, can you guys see the darker shade area? I got 1 more to do, and then we'll get those seeds done. Okay, I also want to do, I need to put, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I'm gonna cut my red down because I need that lighter green again. So I cut that red off and I still have my sponge. I forgot about my tag. My poor little tag keeps getting forgotten. Okay, I'm gonna take my little tag off and use that darker green. Let me dry it real quick. Okay, we still have those 2 little beads to do. With that darker green, I'm gonna come in and shade, although it's dried up already. So I'm gonna do another little bit. See, there's not a whole lot of paint being used on these things. Okay, and then I did that. Let's finish this bead up. I'm gonna take that sponge with the darker green color on it, and I'm just going to like spot this. I don't want all over coverage. I just want spots of that dark green on it here and there. Kind of like that. That is gonna like mimic watermelon rind. So we are done with that one. Now I'm gonna take these smaller ones, and they don't fit all the way on there. And then I took that red off. So I'm gonna cut off my darker green so I can do the red again because I got rid of it. So I've got red on my sponge, and I'm gonna do that same thing and sponge that red onto my bead. I need another little bit of paint. Okay, let me get that dry so I can switch it out. And I'm gonna do this other one. did notice on here, the very ends of it, I need to get that. Okay, that looks good. All right, there, those are all done. Our board is empty. I can put that away. All right, now you're gonna want to grab the eyeliner brush that comes in the kit, and we are going to paint our seeds. So I'm just gonna use black. Put it right on my, just a dot. I think in all I've maybe used less than 10 drops of paint. Literally, these do not take a ton of paint. I hope you guys are enjoying this so far. Sorry, I'm concentrating, trying to stay in the lines. And it's okay if you don't. The links to these kits are in the comments, so you can grab those there. They're either in the comments or in the description of the video once I get it uploaded to YouTube. It'll be in the description. But for now, they are in the comments. How many of you guys decorate with a tiered tray? Any of you? I do, and I mix my wood pieces and my fig bakes on it. All right, one more slice and I will be done painting the watermelon. Okay. All right, let's put it together. No. Rinse out your brush so that it's not got any black on it, and make sure it's clean because we're gonna do some little accents with white on it. Okay. Before I do that, let me make sure all of this black is dry. Before I go messing up the white. Okay, now we're gonna come in with some white and give it a little bit of, that was way too much, but that's all right. Just need a dab of white. So I take these and I put them in my paint and I spin it. And then that's just to get up, see, I've got a blob of paint on the end of there. So I want it all paint saturated, but when I put it in there, as I'm pulling out of the paint, I'm gonna curl it so I no longer have a blob on there and it comes to a point. That's what I want. So now I'm gonna take my pieces in on the red part. I'm looking to see. Okay, that looks good. I'm gonna take it and pull it to a point, and I'm gonna start on one side and drag down and around a little bit and pull up so that I have that on there. So I'm gonna do that on all 4 of these and the 3 little pieces. And each time I'm going right back into the paint. I want fresh paint on it every time I do this. You guys still with me? All right, on these pieces, I'm gonna do not around the bottom. I'm gonna go kind of up one side, I think. These are so tiny. I've got enough paint on here to do all 3 of them, I think. So on those, I just put a little dash right on the edge, like that. So this is done. I'm gonna put it in my water and clean it out. Now, if you have a dotting tool, you can use a dotting tool, but I'm gonna go ahead and use my eyeliner brush, because if you don't have one, I want you to know how to use this for that same purpose, but I am going in straight down into the paint like this to get a little dot of paint right on the end of my brush. And I'm going to add that to my pieces. So I have 2 little dots at the end of my dash, right like that. So I'm going straight down into the paint, not sideways. And I'm doing a dot, dot. Where's my other one? Right here. Two little dots. Now on the bigger ones, I'm going to do 3 dots, and I'm going to do graduated dots, meaning I'm not going back into the paint each time. I'm doing 3 graduated dots, so they should get smaller as I do them. Okay, so I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. Right like that. And I'm going to do that on all 4 of these. Okay, let's see, do I want to do anything on the tag? I don't think so, because I darkened that already. Okay. So we are done painting. So let me show you how I clean up my board from all the paint. And I'm going to put my lid back on my little eyeliner brush to protect my bristles. I am going to put the white paint back into my bottle because I knew I did not need that much. And I don't like to waste it. Same with the black. I'm not going to do the red. It's an old bottle and it's already drying up. Anyways, I need a new bottle of red. Okay, this one I'm not going to cut anymore. It's probably as much as I can use on that one. This I'm gonna cut the tip off and save that for another project. Okay, with my pieces here, I need to move them back so they don't get wet. I'm going to use my spray bottle. I'm going to let that sit just for a minute, put this away, and get ready for the next part. So we have our scoop that is now dry and ready to decorate the rest of it. I'm also going to show you how to clean up your edges before we glue them on. So that is the next step, is cleaning up our edges. So I'm going to take that baby wipe that I used half of to do my staining. I'm going to open that up and I'm going to take it and just start wiping off my board. Right like that. And now I'm ready for the next project. Just that easy. Okay, to clean your edges, this is, whoa, didn't mean to throw that at you. This is a Mr. Pen permanent marker. I will link these in the description. It also might be in my Amazon shop. I gotta look and see, I'm not sure. But it is a chisel point marker, and I call this point, the point of the marker is the toe and the bottom is the heel. I use the toe of the marker towards the painted side of my wood piece. And you got to be careful not to get paint actually on the painted side. And so it just cleans up those edges very nicely. If you do get the marker on the painted side, sometimes you got to start over, so be very careful. Don't throw your wood piece away, just repaint it. So you see how much green there is on that edge? With my marker, it all goes away. This just makes your wood piece look so much nicer than if you just painted it and slapped it together. Next, we're going to be putting the wood beads together, so I can show you how those go. And my tag. All right, so let's put the wood beads together. So we have our pieces here. I'm gonna make sure I have what I need for both of those. Set those aside. This goes with that one. No, it does not. It goes with this one. This way. And that one goes that way. Okay. So I'm gonna take my glue. I'm gonna flip one of my wood pieces over to the raw wood side, and that's where I'm gonna be doing my gluing. I'm gonna put enough glue here, and I'm gonna line it up. So you'll see I got one side on there. Now I'm going to do the other side. My phone is saying report a technical problem. That's weird. Okay, so you have, it should look like this. when you glue it. There needs to be space right in the middle, right like that. There needs to be a channel for your twine to go through. That's what creates a bead, is a bead has a hole in it for this purpose. I'm gonna let that one dry just a minute and go to the other one. I'm gonna flip it over so the raw wood is on where I'm gluing. Now this bead goes across the top, not down the sides. Like that, okay? Okay, I'm gonna do the bottom part. And so that's how this one looks. You see the channel right there. Okay, I'm gonna come back to this first one because the glue should be dried enough that I can do the next part. What I wanna do is put the glue on this area, not on this piece, because you want to keep the glue out of that center channel. The more glue and stuff you have down in there, the twine has to be smaller or thinner to go through. All right, we've just made our very first wood bead, just like that, and you have your channel right down the center. I'm gonna do the same thing on this one. So we have this one, front and back, and then this one, the channel goes on the side, like that. All right, now let's do our watermelon pieces inside of the scoop. So those are gonna be these 3 pieces right there that we painted. And I'm gonna do mine, I think I'm gonna do upside down that way. Do this piece this way. Like that. Now I should switch back to my other glasses. Oops. So we have our scoop with our little watermelon slices in there. Now, another option, your kit will come with the wood watermelon pieces, but if you have the little flat backs, or if you make your own clay pieces, you can absolutely glue those to your wood scoop as well. These would be really cute. I also have some that look like these that would be really cute. These are polymer clay pieces, and those would be really cute. I am going to use what comes in the kit, but you can absolutely switch those out if you have something like that you want to use also. Okay, so let's start playing with it and putting it together. Assembly line style. So I'm wanting to do my watermelon bead that's got the side channel on it on this part. I keep looking to see. I've got it playing on both my devices to see if I'm missing comments. All right, I think I want to do it like this. Do I want to put one down here? Okay, so a couple of different ways you can do this. I like to hang mine like this. I like mine to have a closure, but you don't have to do that. So I'm gonna do mine similar to this one, which will give you either an extra bead left over this one, or I'm gonna use it and put it in here separately. So instead of tying it off up here, like I did, you could leave it open and put one of these beads on each end of the string at the very end here. But I like to close mine off. You guys can do them however you want, but I'm gonna close mine off, but I'm still gonna use both of the beads. So here we go. You have red and white gingham ribbon in your box that we will use for a bow at the very, very end. And then you have white twine. You could also paint your scoop white if you want to do that, and then use a jute twine for the hanger, whatever you want to do. I also, and if you didn't want to use the red and white gingham, you could use a green organza or satin or whatever you wanted to use. But I'm going to be using this. It's what comes in the box, as well as this one. So what I like to do with these, and I did give you guys, I think it's 16 inches. No, it's almost 18 inches. Roughly 16 inches, might be more when you get it, but you're not going to use all of this. I'm going to fold it in half and take that loop right like that. And I'm going to go through the front of my scoop to the back. I'm going to open that up and pull those two strings through to the other side and then pull it tight. Right like that. This twine might be too thick for those beads. I think I want my tag on there. As thick as this is, I think I want to put my tag on first so that I don't have to, actually I'm just going to pull one of these strings out and put my tag on it. I'm not going to undo the whole thing. I'm just going to pull one string through, and I'm going to grab a piece of floral wire that I have bent in half. put my tag on that way. And then I'm going to put this string right back through my loop. So that's what it looks like so far. Now, this is where I thought about using one of these little beads, but this twine is thick. I'm gonna try it though. I'm gonna try and make this hole a little bit bigger just by putting it on my thing and twisting. I'm gonna try and get both. I don't think I will though. I don't think it'll fit. If you have skinnier twine, this would work way better. Or use a different bead with a bigger hole in it. But I'm gonna try it, see if I can get both. Ooh, maybe I can't even get one in there. So that's gonna change things. If you have baker's twine, that would work too. I'm just gonna do it the way I have it. So now I'm gonna take my one strand of the twine at a time and go through my bead. I'm gonna undo this, use the other side of the twine and go back through that bead again and pull that one through. Right, like that. See, that's why I wanted that bead on there, is maybe I can just do one. No, that would look funny. Okay, I'm gonna tie this off so there's a little bit of a separation. Hang on, y'all, I gotta figure out how I wanna put this together. I do wanna tie it off though. So I put a little knot right at the base of it. That's gonna give me something to glue my ribbon to at the very end. Now I'm gonna do my bead one more time. Yeah, I like that better. Okay, so now it's got a little bit of space between the tag and the first bead that I'm gonna be able to glue my bow to. I like that. Now I'm gonna do the bigger bead, the one that we painted green, and I'm gonna do one strand at a time. Actually, this is big enough, I could probably do both. So let me save some time and just do both. So got that on. Now we're gonna do the other bead. This one goes. All right, look at that. It's almost done. So here's where I was saying you could tie this off right here and then put your other 2 little beads up here on the ends and leave it open. I like to close mine. I know I'm not going to get those on there, so I'm going to tie this off. I'm going to tie it again. No, I'm not. I don't have enough string. You guys will have plenty of string. Now that I'm doing it, I'm gonna make sure there's at least 20 inches of string in your box, because this is not enough for what I want to do, but it will be for what you do with yours. So I'm gonna not put this knot in it right here. I'm gonna put it at the very end. So that I've got a hanger. All right, so there's the way mine's gonna look, right like that. And I've got 2 extra beads left over, which is fine. I knew I probably wouldn't be using one of those, but now I'm gonna take my ribbon, and I'm just gonna make a little bow. You could cut this into 3 or 4 pieces and make a messy bow and glue it to your scoop piece. Just gonna pull it tight. I just want it slightly smaller. So I'm doing a really teeny tiny little bow. And I'm gonna hot glue it. Right to that spot on the knot that I created. What are you doing? She is into everything. And I'm gonna cut my pieces. Like I said, you could do a messy bow, a little messy bow right here. And there you have it. That's stinking cute. So there we have our little watermelon wood scoop kit, painted and made. And I've got 2 extra beads left over. You guys can do with those whatever you want. But that's it, you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate you guys for taking the time to pop on here with me and watch me make something super sweet for summer. And I hope to see you guys next Tuesday for Touch of Color Tuesdays, and we'll do another wood scoop kit. Any of the extra shipping overages, I do refund those. I do not keep that money, but you guys will get that back. Anyhow, thank you so much, you guys, for being here with me today. I appreciate you. Have a good one, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye now.